Are you ready for some playtime? I am. Let's do it. Hey all, Cristin here, and we are going to start on our Cuties table topper for January. So we are going to start on the Lazy Daisy. Lazy Daisy. So there are 4 parts to this, and I don't think we'll be able to merge too much. I'm thinking we can merge 2 in one hooping, and we need 4 of them. So that'll save us a little bit of time. That's totally up to you. It's optional and depending on your hoop size. So the quilting design on this is 6 by 10. So that's the one that you always want to worry about what will fit in a hoop. If you have something that will fit 2 of those in a 6 by 10 hoop, the actual quilting design, if I recall, I pulled it up and it's like 5.5. So I'm thinking we could do it in a 7 by 12 hoop. I'll check when we get to the computer, but again, that's totally optional. So let's go over what we need for today to do the 4 lazy daisies. So for the first part, for our main fabric, it is that really pretty, I love this. Oh, and look at it, matches me today. So it is the mint teal blue. I don't know what you call it. I consider it mint. But anyway, so mint silky solid, and we're going to start with this at 7.5 by 7.5, and you want 4 pieces of it, and you do want to back this with fusible stabilizer so to ward off puckers. All right, so fusible stabilizer on the back. Make sure and look at it when you put it down, because actually it's not too far off, that fusible stabilizer versus the backing. Just make sure that you can see it. So anyway, 7.5 by 7.5, and you want 4 pieces of this mint silky solid. All right, and then we are going to have petals. So this is going to be so cute. I really like those. Lazy Susan, Lazy Daisy, Lazy Daisy, I guess that's what it's called. Anyway, very, very cute. So we are going to have 3 different fabrics. So the white with light teal dots on it, white with teal dots, 4 pieces, and then white with stars on it. It's a directional, it's not directional, it is a tonal, white on white tonal. So it does have stars on it. Hopefully you can see that. And 4 pieces of that. And then 4 pieces of the snowflakes. Again, it's tonal, white on white, but you can see the snowflakes there, all right? And 4 pieces of that. So each of these are going to be, oh, they're different. Sorry, my mistake. All right, my mistake. I thought they were all going to be the same, and they're not. So the first one is the dots. So petal 1 is the dots, and those are 3.5 by 5. 4 pieces, 3.5 by 5. And I did back mine with fusible stabilizer to help ward off puckers. 3.5 by 5, 4 pieces, and it's the white with teal dots. That's for petal 1. For petal 2, it's the snowflakes, and this one is wider. So this one is 4 by 5 for the snowflakes. 4 by 5, 4 pieces, and it is the one with the snowflakes on it. And again, I did back it with fusible stabilizer. 4 by 5, 4 pieces. And then the last one for petal 3 is the one with the stars on it. All right, the tonal stars. And that one is 3.5 by 5, 4 pieces at 3.5 by 5 for the stars. There you go. Then you can see it. All right, so 4 pieces, 3.5 by 5. That's for petal 3. And then just like that, the big main fabric, we have 4 pieces, and it is that same mint fabric, and these I believe 2.5 by 2.5. Yep, 2.5 by 2.5, 4 pieces, and it's that inner part of the Lazy Daisy. So 4 pieces, 2.5 by 2.5, the mint silky solid. All right, and then we are going to quilt this. So we're going to quilt it. Like I mentioned, I'm going to use the 6 by 10, but there's also a 5 by 7 version. And the 6 by 10, we're going to use the center snowman. So when you open up your quilting bundle, you'll see triangles and centers and borders. I think all of them were in the one for your format that you use. I used Paz for mine. So when I opened up that, it had like all the center ones and all the triangle ones and all the borders. So we're looking for center snowman. It's KDQ 150. And it's the center snowman. And like I said, I'm going to use the 6x10. I believe there was a smaller size as well. And so hoop for our batting. So we are going to use our batting. So for the batting, we want 4 pieces that are 6x6. So if I recall, the quilting design was like 5.5 maybe. Anyway, so 6x6 for your batting, 4 pieces. We're going to do 4 hoopings, or you can merge 2 together like I'm planning to do. All right, and like I said, center snowman, 4 pieces of batting, 6x6, and I think we can do 2 hoopings in 7x12. So I'll show you how to join those together, and that's it. I think it should be fun to get started. Are you excited? Hey everyone, so I'm at my computer now, and if you choose to merge 2 of these together on one hooping, I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to open up Embrilliance Essentials. Like I mentioned yesterday, I am an affiliate with Embrilliance Essentials, so if you're in the market for embroidery software, please use my affiliate link that is underneath this video. I'll also add a link, I think it probably goes right above up there, that you can direct link on that and place an order. All right, so I've got Embrilliance Essentials opened. It opens to the last hoop I was on. You can see it right down here. This is my 9x14. We don't need that big, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and try smaller. Let's just see what we can do. So I'm going to go with 7x12. I think that if this is 6 inches, let's see, we'll see. Might need a 9x14. All right, and then it shows the new hoop, but I'd like to go up to this compass button and click H, and then it zooms in so I can see the entire hoop and the full bits of it. So let's go ahead and start by bringing in our first quilting design. So I have mine here. All right, so we are looking for the January centers and triangles. All right, and then there's that 5x7. I was telling you that the center does come in a 5x7. I'm going to use the larger, the 6x10 one, and I'll double click on that, and it goes to the center. And let's see how big that is. It's 5.5 by 5.5, so it's not even 6 inches. So we should be able to fit this in a 12x12, or I'm sorry, an 8x12 or 7x12 hoop. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it up here. Normally I like to keep it in the center, but I saw already that lining up the embroidery design is really easy on this. So I'm going to go ahead and just work on the quilting for now. So I moved it up to the top. Notice that I can see, if I click somewhere else, I can see that black square. If you can't see the black square, if it's over that hoop line, then it might look okay while you're working on your software, and then you bring it to your embroidery machine and it'll say, I can't do it, it's outside of the hoop. So make sure that you can always see these black squares and that you're not over the actual hoop. This yellow part here is our hoop. All right, and as I mentioned in other videos, my background is light pink. I chose that. I think when you first purchase Embrilliance, it comes either white or yellow, and you can just go to this preferences and make all kinds of changes to personalize your own Embrilliance if you choose. All right, so we have the 5 steps of quilting right here. So we've got, as you can see, default 1 blue and default 2 oranges. We have that twice. If we don't change those, then it will join them together, and we don't want that because then we will lose the purpose of having them separated. So I'm going to go ahead and just change the colors at this point right now because we're going to copy it and have 2 of these quilting designs. We're going to do a color sort, so we want to make sure that these stay separated. So I'm going to go ahead and just change it right now. So I click on the color here, click on the first item, so 1-1, and then click on the color. And the first color that comes up for me is dark aqua. As I've mentioned in other videos, it doesn't matter what color you choose. I'm just choosing the first color that comes up for me. Since I have my preference set to Filtech Glide, that's the first color that comes up for me. Yours may be different. If you go to this preferred it will let you choose what you want as your preferred thread color. And that's how I have mine set for glide. So dark aqua, and again, it doesn't matter what color, it's just the first one that comes up and it's easy. All right, so that's the first one. Now the second one is default to orange. I'm going to go ahead and click on the color and change it to the first color that comes up, which is Blaze. And then 1-3, we want to make sure to change that as well because there's going to be more default blues in the embroidery design. So I'm going to click on the color. We already used dark aqua, so now I'm going to use marine and say OK. And then the fourth one, 1-4, on default to orange. We already used Blaze, so I'm going to use Oriole. And then I'm going to go ahead and change this. If I recall, there is a default 17 turquoise later in the embroidery design, and we don't want those to join. So I'm going to go ahead and just change the color. It's so quick and easy. So the first color that comes up is Sprout. So I'll say OK. All right, so that is all done. That we have all of the 5 steps of the quilting, and they'll be all separated, and then we can do a copy and paste, and it will be exactly the same. So I'm going to click on the design. You can see I've got all 5 steps, and I'm going to say Control-C on my keyboard to copy, and then I'm going to say Control-V to paste, and it goes right on top of it, and it looks like nothing has happened, but you can see here that we've got all of 1 design and all of 2 designs. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the stitching. You have to do it on the stitching, otherwise it will not move. It won't, excuse me, it won't know what you're trying to do. And I'm going to just bring it down to the bottom and keeping it down. You can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to move it down if you prefer. Either way is totally fine. Here come the dogs again. So there's Archie. So if you have the 2 now copied and pasted, we've got the first one here, the second one here. You can see them here. If we click this close button, then we can see them easier. There's the first one and there's the second one, and you can always click on them to see them and all the different 5 steps. So those are done. That was super easy. Now we're going to bring in that Lazy Daisy design. So I'm going to go to File, Merge Stitch File right here. And this was the quilting, so I'm going to close up the quilting. And now I am looking for, they both say, there we go, right there, embroidery files. So the embroidery files will be on your CD, and what I did is I transferred it to my computer, and I only saved the PEZ because that's what I use for my machine. So it'll look different on yours, but you want to have it on your computer so that you can transfer it to your USB stick, or you can transfer it straight from your CD, whatever works for you. But I'm using PEZ for mine. And then all of the designs, those 6 designs come up, actually more than 6, because there's the corner design and the center design. Look at that gnome. Oh my goodness, it's probably March. I can't wait to do that one. I have a little obsession with gnomes. All right, so we are looking for this Lazy Daisy right here. So we're going to go ahead and click on that, double click on it, and it goes to the center. Now, I already checked this, and it was really easy to center it because it's got this guide here. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring it up, and I'm going to line it up with that quilting. So see that quilting underneath right there? That is how easy it was to get it centered just right. And the black squares, of course, always help. They won't help on this part, but they'll help on this center guide. And we have this to help us. You can also zoom in if you want to make sure that you're on that line. You can click on this compass and then move this plus sign to where you want to see. I think I want to see right up here. And then once you're there, you can just hit the scroll button on your mouse to zoom in. And look at that. Pretty great. Maybe even a tiny bit higher. All right. Can't really get better than that. So that's great. And that was so easy. Now I'm going to go back to that compass and hit H again so that it shows me my entire hoop. Now before we do a copy and paste to bring another one down for the second one, we want to make a lot of changes. See all these default blues and oranges? Those will all join together, and we need those to be separate items. So there wasn't a dark purple in that other excuse me, in the quilting design, so we can keep that dark purple. All these blues and oranges, I'm just going to go ahead and change them. It's quick and easy to do. See, there's that turquoise. There's 2 of them. We definitely don't want those to join. So I'm going to go ahead and just run through. You can do it on all of them. Let's go ahead and do it on all of them. I've actually never seen this dark purple. This is that template. So how pretty is that? I'm going to click on that color, and the first color that comes up is Damson. So I'm going to say OK. And then for 3-2, I'm on default blue. I'm going to click on the color, and we know we already used dark aqua and marine in our quilting, so we have to remember that and use the third one down, which is, for me, it's Hawaiian blue. It doesn't matter what color as long as it's not the same as the first two that you used. If it's the same as the first two, then those will join together and it will defeat the purpose of having them be separate steps. So I'm clicking on Hawaiian blue and saying OK. And then same thing with this orange. If we click on the color, we already used Blaze and Oriole, so we're going to use Coral is what I'm on, whatever your next color is. All right, and then there's another default blue. We already used dark aqua, marine, and Hawaiian blue, so I'm going to use Mercury. And then for 3-5, there's another orange, and our last one was Coral. You can see it right here, so I'm going to use Lava. And then this black, we don't have another black. We could keep it. I'm just going to go ahead and change it just because we're in the mood of change right now. And the first one that comes up is black anyway, so I'm going to say OK. All right, and then there's that turquoise. We want to change that because there's two of them. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. We already used Sprout for our quilting, so I'm going to use Sea Green. And then there's another default one, blue. Click on the color, and let's see, what did we use last? Mercury. So I'm going to use Tropical. All right, and then the next orange, click on the color, and our last one was Lava, so we're going to use Strawberry Blonde. My son is Strawberry Blonde. He's so cute. When he grows a beard, it's red. So cute. I love that kid. He's a good one, and I get to see him soon for Christmas. All right, and then looks like we just have two more. There's a default 17 turquoise. I'm going to click on the color, and we already used Sea Green, so I'm going to use Mint. Let's say OK. And then the default for black, we changed it, so we could just leave it, but I'm going to go ahead and change it to Brunette. And we're actually not going to stitch that. I'm almost certain we won't stitch that. It is just to be able to line up the design in the right way in the digitizing process. All right, so you saw how quick and easy that was. Now what we can do, I'm going to close it. I'm going to click on this third step, which is all of those steps. If I were to open it, you can see it's all of these steps here of the Lazy Daisy. And I'm going to say Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste. And it goes right on top of the other. If we scroll down, you can see now we've got 4s. Yep, right there. So there's 4 designs. So the first 2 quilting, the first Lazy Daisy, and now the 4th Lazy Daisy that's right on top of the 3rd one. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the design anywhere on the stitching, and I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to just line it up with that batting line. That's what that line is, in case you wondered. It is the batting line of our quilting, and I'm just lining it up right there. So again, I can go to this compass, and I can bring this crosshairs down up to this corner, and then I can zoom in to make sure that it's lined up on that batting. So here's our batting line, and here's our main fabric line. That's the placement and tack down of the batting and the placement and tack down of our main fabric. So we're lining it up with that placement and tack down of our batting is what we're doing. All right, and then once you have it where you want it, go ahead and click on that compass and H for the hoop, and we can see that we've got everything lined up. We have all of these different designs. We have the quilting, 2 of the quilting and 2 of the Lazy Daisies. We've got enough room for our fabric. You could certainly use a 9x14 hoop. That would give you even more room in between, because keep in mind that the fabrics are 2 inches wider than we need. So there will be some overlap, but whatever you feel comfortable with will work fine. Right now we have 32 color steps. So let's see how much that we can shrink it down to less steps and how much time we'll save. So if we go to Utility, Color Sort, it reduced it by 16. So half as much. So always, always, always click new view. You never know. Sometimes something will be wonky. You missed clicking on something, or your tolerance level is off. We talked about tolerance level. So notice this. I want to point this out while we're here. My RHS pre-sort is not selected. My force applique position and material is not selected. And my tolerance level, this is not my tolerance level. This was brought up recently on another tutorial. They thought it was my tolerance level of what I can handle. It's not. It's Embrilliance's tolerance level. So right here, and I have it marked at 0. This is really important. If you have it at a higher number, then it will reduce differently. You just want to have the same settings that I have, all right, when you do your color sort. And then always click new view so you can check to see just what it did. So notice what it does is it brought in a second tab. So here's our first tab with those 4 different designs. And then here is the second tab that it just created for us. And everything is now brought down to one step. It's one design, I should say. There's 16 steps. You can see them down here. So I always like to look through it and make sure it did what I wanted it to do. So the first one, that is our placement stitch. So this is funny. It looks like it's showing this too. We'll have to check and make sure we didn't merge those together. It should just be this outer, the placement of the batting. So I'm going to check that in just a moment. And then our quilting, or I'm sorry, our batting tack down, and then our placement of the main fabric and our tack down of the main fabric, and then our quilting design on both. So that's all perfect, I think. This is a little weird. It looks like I can see this here too, but I think it's just a different color, but we'll check. All right, so there's our quilting. And then the next one is that template. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. And then we have each of the Hawaiian blues and each of the coral, each of the mercury, each of the lava. And there's the tack down of all of those. That's good. And then the decorative stitch on the outline and that inner little corner, I'm not sure if that's what you call it, but the inner part of the Lazy Daisy and Strawberry Blonde, those are together. And the little decorative stitch, and then that placement stitch that I'm pretty certain we will not be stitching. So those are all perfect. It's funny, this one, it looked like these are the same color, but obviously it's a little bit lighter. So that's all good. So once you have it exactly how you want it, we can go ahead and go to File, Save Stitch File As. And then I like to put it where I have my original design. So I'm going to go to my desktop. That's not how I meant to do it, but that's okay. Right there, Cuties table topper and embroidery files, Pez, and then name it whatever you want. I'm going to name it Lazy Daisy Doubled. Lazy Daisy Doubled. So that means that I have 2 of the Lazy Daisies, but I also have 2 of the quilting. So this is all ready to go. I don't have my machine on, or I could send it to my machine. If you have a machine that allows you to do that, you would go to Utility, Send to Solaris, and it will say Sent to Machine, File Sent to Machine. My machine's not on right now though. All right, so that's all ready, and that was super easy to do. And again, that part is completely optional. You can do this in 4 hoopings, or you can do it in 2. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. Hey everyone, so I noticed something really important. We've already done all of our moving around on Embrilliance to be able to merge the 2 together, like here. But I noticed that it was saying to use white for our quilting. And I thought, well, why would we use white when the background is that mint color? And then I realized because we're supposed to quilt on top of the Lazy Daisy and the background, all of it together. And so I didn't catch that until just now. And so a small change for the design that we just created. So if you are not using software, you would just do the first 4 steps of the quilting, and then you would stop and jump right into, you would not do this quilting part, the last step, step 5, you would jump right into the piecing project. So the piecing project, after you finish all of that, remember we're not going to stitch this last step, step 16. We're not going to stitch that, but then after you finish up the piecing project, then you would go and do the quilting design, which is step 5 of the quilting. So those of us that have software, we can just move it around easy and no problem. Like, that's super easy for us. Initially, I also thought, well, if we're going to do the quilting, why have it be the last step? Because really, this design here, this decorative outline, and there's another one right there, I felt like the quilting should not be on top of those. And so I thought about not about just reordering them a little bit, but then I realized, well, if we're doing the quilting in white and this decorative outline is white, it's not a big deal. You could certainly move these around a little bit and do the decorative outline, the 2 of them last. That would be super easy to do. I'm going to follow the directions and trust that they know what they're doing, and I'm going to do it the way they say. So all we're going to do, super easy, is this, where is it, number 5, right here. We're just going to move this to the bottom. So if we right click on it and say move last, then it should come down here to the very bottom, and there it is. So don't forget, you could delete this one. This is that one that is just for digitizing purposes for the alignment. I'm going to leave it in so that I can remember to tell everyone to bypass it and to not stitch it. But then the very last step would be the quilting, and that's easy to do. If you want to do your decorative outline, that's number 11 and number 14. You could move those after your quilting if you choose. I'm going to leave it as is and just trust the process. But you saw how easy that was. I just right-clicked on it. It was up here. It was number 1-5. I right-clicked on it and said move to last. Easy, and everything's still already joined, and everything is still how we already did it all. So I'm just going to do a file, save stitch file as. And I'm going to name it over the Lazy Daisy doubled that I already did, because then it will just go right over it. I'm going to turn my speaker down so you don't hear that big, oh, what are you doing? So do you want to replace it? Yes, I do. All right, so that was really easy, and I'm going to go ahead and send it to my machine. Now that my machine is on and I'm ready to stitch, file sent to machine. All right, so just that one very quick change, move your quilting to the end of the design. And if you're doing it without software, you would just do the first 4 parts of the quilting, then do all of the piecing, and then at the very end do that last step of your quilting. And I'll try to remember to add information in the tutorial about that as well. Hopefully you're using Brilliance Essentials and loving it. I'm pretty impressed with it. So anyway, let's get stitching. my shirt today is a really fun one. I love this shirt. It is a Yeti for Christmas. So I am going to play with my grandkids today. They've been working hard all week on their schoolwork. They are taught from homeschool. What is it? Homeschool. They are homeschooled. And so since we all got sick during Thanksgiving, they got behind on their schoolwork. So they've been working really, really hard so that they can play with Grandma on Saturday. How fun is that? So I'm wearing my Yeti shirt. I'm ready. We're going to play the Nintendo Switch games online. So that will be fun. So I believe this is a Hoop Mama design. I will add information underneath this video. And the sweater is from Amazon, and it comes in a few different like color designs, and it's really comfortable and really cute, and the zipper is out of the way for quilting, or not quilting, for embroidering a design on it. I really like it, so I will add information on where I got the shirt. It was from Amazon. Pretty fun shirt.